I always like our kids to be first out of the gate. I like everybody's eyes on us to hopefully put some focus on Lubbock High School and what we got going on there. Excited for it, and this time of year I don't mind because we've been practicing for so long and kids are ready. So right now I find it to be advantageous. A number of guys impressed me. I'm just going to group them together a little bit. Secondary did a good job of covering guys. We did give up 3 touchdowns there, but I think they tried to throw over the top 33 times or something. So that was an improvement for us. I felt the defense did a good job as a unit running the football and trying to be physical. Offensively, the receiving core and Brandon did a good job connecting and being on the same page and moving the football. Then the offensive line, for such an inexperienced group, I felt like they did a lot of good things. So overall, I was pleased. 1,
trying to find a game, and 2, I know Estacado and us wasn't going to happen, so I look at Frenship's all their possibilities of playing people, and I knew going to El Paso probably wasn't too intriguing for them. So you could drive 12 miles or go 300. So I also know Jay played for my dad in Plainview, and all their staff, a lot of their staff played for my dad, so I know those guys really well, and we both needed a game, so it just finally naturally fit in that spot. So you come into a game and basically you got last year's film and maybe some bad clips in a scrimmage, and you're guessing. So you got to run a lot of your base offense and stuff. When you get around 3 or 4 weeks into the season and see a lot of things on film, things change as far as planning. So the unknown is probably the biggest challenge, and hopefully we we'll figure it out quick. The key is get started early, and the team that's hot first usually will kind of carry the way for the rest of the time. Now I'll say that didn't exist if they score first. I'll say usually a team scores second, will win. One thing you can always judge on is, do they run to the ball fast and do they hit? Are they physical? And that's where we won. I thought last year we weren't as physical as we normally are, and I think Friday night, last Friday, I saw the old defense back, and even though we're an air raid team, my background as always from my dad has been defense, and actually Sawyer's dad, Stan, was one of the prime examples of what that was he would run downhill and light you up, and I remember that as a kid. I said, man, that hit sounded different. So we want hits that sound different than other hits, and I've had that experience like 3 or 4 defenses, and when they sound different, you got a good defense.
Actually, at the beginning of the year, when we didn't have to rush at the beginning, we were able to get a lot of things done that normally we had to rush. So that part was good. But as far as once we got into the routine, I haven't seen any change as far as how we prepare each week, how we did our practices, other than when we first started back, it was almost like 2-a-days again. It was kind of like we were in spring football the first few weeks of school. But now we've kind of developed into our game week routine, and I think our kids are really liking that, and they're just excited to get to play this Friday. First and foremost, he's fast, and he ran a 10.5 last track season. That had a lot to do with getting an offer from Rice, and then above that, he's a great student. He's a great kid. He's a leader on our football team. He's been a starter for the last 3 years, and he brings a lot to the game. His character's good, his leadership's good, and he's fast. He's going to give defenses a lot of problems trying to protect the deep ball, and we're hoping that he has a lot of deep balls this year. A whole lot. He came in several ball games last year, whether we were behind or whether we were getting beat by a good number, and was able to rally us when we were getting beat. And he came in and just actually performed really, really well. And by the end of last year, I wouldn't have hesitated starting him in any of those playoff games. It's just that you have Coreon in front of him, and he was the guy. But that experience is invaluable. I think you're going to see a calm, productive quarterback come Friday, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
It felt good. I think I sent my family a text at the end of that game that say, "Can someone get the monkey off my back?" And it just felt good all the way around. Saturdays are better. Sunrise looks prettier. The stars are brighter. It was just fun. It was fun to get to bring the kids up and celebrate by eating up and doing the fun things that you do after a win. And all our kids showed up. We went to work, and then it was flip that switch on and off, which we hadn't got to do, and moved on to the next one, into Andrews. So it was great. It was great for our kids to experience that success and experience it in a way where we played well. It wasn't a fluke win. It was like we went out and asserted ourselves and played really well. So it was very exciting. Coach Mason, first off, is one of the best coaches in West Texas, as is his coaching staff. And we matched up with them in the ASCO game. And I can't remember if it was the summer of 19, I think is what it was. And so we know what they're capable of. And then, of course, they got great players. They got kids that are all the way bought in, that play extremely hard. And, one of the things you can tell about a good football team is how hard they play on special teams. And I think his kids play really hard on special teams. And so that's, what you hope coaches are saying about you and your kids and what you see. And I, hope one day to be in the same spot he is, where you're 9 years in. And, I think they've won 6 or 7 or 8 district championships in a row and gone 3 or 4 rounds deep every year. And those are the caliber of teams that we want to play, because that's where we want to be. And so the road definitely doesn't get easier, but I feel like, we're a better football team. We're better than we were week 1 and week 2. And so we want to see those improvements tomorrow. I'm telling you, I try not to, and it's hard, as human nature. You look at, well, they scored this versus us and they scored this versus them. But I think especially in this pandemic, you don't even know, did Seminole or Andrews or whatever roll out with their full squad? Because if there's 4 or 5 starters missing, you're not going to know that until you go back and watch the film and stuff. So really, I try not to do that, but that happens human nature-wise. When you play teams that other teams have played, you're looking at, well, they beat us by 25 and beat them by 35, so we must be better. I mean, everyone, that's just human nature. We all do it. But really try and more look at it in terms of, we're more familiar with our district teams, and so it gives us a good opportunity to go in and look at, this is how Andrews plays these plays. This is how Andrews plays this, because we're familiar with the district teams. We know what they do. We know their coaching staffs, and so I think that is an advantage from that standpoint. Of course, then down the line, it doesn't hurt to have that film on your district opponent that they're not going to have on you. But that's so. Yeah, I try not to look at that, but it is human nature.